We're at Winchendon at Lucinda's backyard where there's this beautiful pond, and she's got a canoe down there and an organic garden and hens across the street, and she lives in a beautiful colonial house, very beautiful old colonial house with her husband, and would be devastated by the pipeline coming through, right through her property, right through her property.
I'm Lucinda Ellert. My husband is Dan Walker. We're here at the house at Gnarly Apple in Winchendon on Mill Glen Road. And we've lived here for about 2.5, a little more than that, years. We moved in the day after Thanksgiving, so November, whatever it was, in 2011. And we undertook the project of restoring this wonderful old house and enjoying the pond and enjoying getting to know the people in Winchendon and starting to work on our 6 acres across the street that we want to develop and make use of. We heard about the pipeline, I think probably end of February. Remember, it was really, really cold. And the agent came to our door and told us this was going to be happening. My husband did a little bit of research initially and felt that from what he saw of the project, that it didn't seem to be too onerous. So we didn't really become concerned until a little bit later, not really until the first meeting that we had at beginning of May, I believe it was. But we were still not very keen on the idea. We had no idea of the scope of the project, or how much it could potentially affect us. When we did find out, we of course became very concerned, and threw ourselves wholeheartedly into protesting this to just join this movement, this tremendous movement that's grown all the way across Massachusetts, and so we're very much a part of this. So how it affects us now, emotionally, well, I'm very wrapped up in it. I would love to be doing other things with my time. I came out here to be in the beauty and to compose and to, develop my musical talents. I'm a conductor and a church musician. And to just enjoy this. The pipeline, if it goes through, will go across. We have about 5 acres. We have 6.5 acres altogether. 5 acres is across the street from where we're sitting right now. And it would pretty well take out that entire 5 acres. When you consider the clear cut that they have to do to get their equipment in, and then to end up with a 50-foot wide easement, it still would cut down all those huge trees over the way. There's historic ruins across the way that it could impact. There's a brook on our property that it would impact. We have heritage apple trees across the street. We have plans to put in possibly a small cash crop. We wouldn't be able to support ourselves with this, but we're thinking hops. Putting in a hops field, a couple of acres over there. We have a large organic garden that we share with our neighbor across the street. And all of that would be wiped out, everything. The pipeline would go across those 5 acres and pretty well wipe us out. It would take out the organic garden, it would take out the apple trees, it would take out that possibility of having a hops field that we would have for the local breweries, and organic, all organic. So the impact on us would be considerable from that respect. What we are very concerned about is the loss of property value, and the loss, possibly the loss of insurance, and then our mortgage would be voided. It's a frightening prospect, especially when you consider that pretty much everything, all of our assets are tied up in this at the moment. We haven't had a chance to recover from the move and from a construction project that kind of went awry, and that we have to raise funds to finish, and so on. But the property is well worth it. The house is more than 200 years old. It's historic. The features of the house are just beautiful. It's built before 1820. It was owned by the one of the first sawmill owners in Winchendon, John Poor. There's a little house next door which was built actually roughly the same time that he built for his mother-in-law. So it's a mother-in-law's house. We have a plan to restore that and turn it into a guest house. Because the Denison State Park is only 1.5 miles away. This is bikers' heaven out here. We know a million musicians that would just love to be able to get away, have a little place where they could practice, where no one's going to complain, and to be able to get on their bikes and get in nature and fish off the dam and so on. So we feel that that would be a very good way for us to be spending our retirement. The pipeline would destroy all of that. There'd be a scar across the street from us instead of beautiful woods and organic gardens and apple trees, of grass that is being loaded with chemicals. Nobody would come and stay here under those circumstances. So we would really wonder how we'd be able to recoup any of our funds that we have into this. I think that we would stand to be ending up in a trailer park someplace, living out our lives. I think that's probably our worst case scenario and our worst nightmare. So that's kind of basically the story.
Yeah. So how were you involved in stopping this pipeline?
Every way I can be, in every possible way. When we first really became aware of the scope of it and the potential for impact, for negative impact on all of us along Mill Glen Road, I started investigating the what other towns were doing, and I found that a lot of them were passing non-binding resolutions, and I said, well, why can't we do that here? So I went to the town hall, I researched the whole thing, I researched what the wording was for such a warrant. I found out what the town hall's requirements were to start a petition drive to hold a town meeting. I wrote the warrant, got together with other members of our group. We reworked the wording so that it fit the needs of Winchendon. We got the petition out, we went out, we canvassed, we got all the signatures we needed, and last week we had our meeting and there was a unanimous approval of the ban on the pipeline. The selectmen in town have been amazing. They're really right on top of it. And their interests are for the people of Winchendon. I'm really proud of this town. I feel like this has made me really a member of this community in a way that 22 years in Reading I never really quite became. So it's very, there are good things. There are some really, really good things that come out of an experience like this. We just have to see it through and make sure that that all of us succeed across the state.
So when you say see it through, what do you experience as the next steps? What are you anticipating as the next steps?
There are a lot of things that each of us can do and will continue to do. We sort of put this resolution to bed. So, and then of course there was the Boston Rally. That was a huge event in our lives. I got together, since I'm a professional musician and so is my husband, we know a lot of people. We got together, a few people, to form a little jazz band to play for the rally, to kind of warm up the crowd and make it peppy and fun. So we called this the Fracked Gas Explosion Jazz Band. It plays old-time jazz in the style of Louis Armstrong. And so we went down and played for the crowd, and very appreciative crowd, I must say. Had a good time, clapping their hands and singing along and all the rest of it. And out of that, we invented new words to an old song, and I'm not going to attempt to sing that on this camera, especially since I don't want to unveil it just quite yet. But we've got a project with a number of friends from actually across the state, musicians, people from various towns on the pipeline who are also musicians, and friends right here in Winchendon that are going to get together this coming weekend, and we're going to make a video of us and our protest. Not specific necessarily to Winchendon, not specific to Winchendon at all, and not even necessarily specific to the Kinder Morgan project, but about the real dead end that fracking is, and how useless it is for us to continue to try to explore fossil fuels, an industry it's not going to go anywhere ultimately, and to encourage people to protest fracking and to really advocate for renewable resources, solar, wind, hydropower, whatever. But there's so many possibilities. So we give information. We will be giving information about this this entire project and how damaging it is on so many levels. It isn't just about people and their property, but it's about what it does to the earth, what it does to the air, the false hope that it brings about jobs and about future for our children and our children's children. And we're just gonna film this, and then we're gonna sing this song. We're gonna put it on Facebook, and we're going to encourage people to record their own version of the song. We're going to open it up. This song is now yours. Record it, put it out there on Facebook, on YouTube, share it. We want to try to see if we can't start a movement countrywide to let our legislators know that it's wrong for there to be this unholy alliance between huge corporations and the government, that this is a government for the people, and we live in a democracy, and we have to have a say about our community rights and about our rights as landowners.
Thanks. There's one thing that's been brought up recently, and I'm curious if you've talked about it or heard about it. That is, we're a commonwealth. We're one of the few commonwealths in the nation.
Virginia, I think.
Yeah,
maybe
Virginia,
Kentucky,
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania, okay.
But one of the truisms about a commonwealth is that in the towns or in the cities within the commonwealth, if the Board of Health says something is a health hazard, it can be prohibited from being in this town or city. And so one of the things that we're talking about in a number of towns is going to the Board of Health and to have the Winchendon, for example, or Board of Health look at the facts and determine that the Kinder Morgan pipeline, in this case, would be detrimental to the health of the people of Winchendon, and it would be prohibited from being here.
I think that sounds wonderful. I didn't know this, and you can bet I'm going to be looking into it and asking. We'll bring it up in our group, and it sounds like a wonderful project to get started with. I'm on it. I'm in.
So there's just one other thing that among other things, an organic gardener, a provider perhaps of hops, but also a musician. And what I was struck by when you were talking about that is how many people who are involved in this have their work against the pipeline as an avocation, that this wasn't part of the plan.
No, that's for sure.
But what you're doing is you're bringing various talents, your musical talents, for example, to awaken people, to energize people, to inspire, and to encourage people to keep moving.
Yes, and I think music plays a huge role in that process. And if you look at any other community or civic or social or union type of protest or movement in the past, music has been central to that. And I'm sure there are other musicians, and more power to them. Let's get together, everybody. The more we can have to make this happen, and to wake people up, then yeah, I'm proud to be a portion of this.